Welcome back to ProjectTube, guys. I just got finished building this Harbor Freight blast cabinet. Now, there's a lot of videos out there that tell you how to build it and what kind of modifications to do with it, but they're all really long, sometimes multi-parts, and they blabble on about the quality and stuff like that. And I thought I'd just make a video that was geared towards the guys that have just bought it, just to give you the kind of Cliff Notes version of what you need to look at, what you need to do, the mistakes that are usually made, or at least I made, and that's not going to be an hour long. So let's get started. All right, so first thing first, these are going to be your go-to bolts. There's a big package of them. They come in the large little package there with a bag. I just opened the bag, dumped it back into that little tray. These are for 99% of the bolts that are on this thing. You're going to use those. The ones that are not for that are like for the glove rings. These are self-tapping Phillips screws. The latch are going to be different. The window are going to be different. The flange over here, these are going to be different. The switch, which we'll get into later why it's not there, and the door hinge over here are going to be different. Other than that, you're going to use those bolts, the washers, and the screws for all the assembly of this thing. So first thing first, you're going to assemble the hopper. This thing down here, can we zoom out? You're going to assemble the hopper, 4 panels, those screws, or bolts I should say, and nuts, and then there's silicone sealant that they give you. I opted to use it. You can opt not to. They do have the foam strips in between stuff, but 4 panels. Use the silicone sealant on the inside is what I did. I haven't put the bottom on because I'm going to do some modifications for a mixing valve at the bottom. I'll show you where I got that in the links below. So once you get that attached, then you're going to start building the cabinet. The way this cabinet's built is you have the top panel right here. Put this on the right way. I screwed up. I put the window up here, so this whole thing was flipped. I did it wrong. Luckily, it was just these top screws that go around the perimeter here. I was able to bend the metal a little bit and get it back out the door, and then flip it and put it back in. It was kind of a pain in the ass, but pay attention to what you're doing. Don't screw up like me, because otherwise, these 2 side panels sandwich this front panel, the top, and the back all together. So if you want to really get rid of one of these, you got to take off the sides, and that's a pain in the ass. So once you build all 3 of those, or the box basically, you can then take the grate, the reinforcement, and put that on top of the hopper. And then those bolt up through with these long bolts right here. So I guess these are different as well. These long bolts attach it. Now, one thing I noticed is they include this little red frame here, and they say to put that between the hopper, this reinforcement grate, and put it on top of there. That doesn't make much sense because now you lose that gasket. So I omitted that. I put sealant between the 2 things of this hopper right here and just bolted it up. Seems to work and seal just fine. A lot of guys reverse this shelf so that you can actually put things and it won't fall off with the lip right here, because this is supposed to go the other way. The legs, they just bolt on with 4 of the same of those screws at each leg, and then at the bottom, the flange, like I said, I use sealant. This is for your vacuum. I use sealant, and then I had a little plastic piece as a baffle right there. Probably getting crazy echo right there, because this one, the intake has a baffle, but that doesn't. So I just found a little plastic piece, used some self-tapping screws, and put that in there on that. The light that they come with, a lot of guys will use a floodlight and put that in there, but I found 4 of these LED garage lights. You can see them right there. I have them all over my garage. I only needed 3 of them, so I had a 4th left over, and I think they're like 30 bucks for 4 of them. They're super bright. They work great. Let's go ahead and flip it on. Comes with a switch. You can see way bright enough. They also swivel on the side right here, so you can angle them. There's one in the middle, one on the side. I'll put a link below to that. Works perfectly. To mount the light, there's 2 holes in the back panel here for some clips that they give you for the light that they give you, which is supposedly crap. I just use a zip tie and put the zip tie through, and then the end is too big to fit back through the panel. So easy enough to change. There's the light that they give you. I haven't tested it. It sounds like it's crap. But that's how I mounted the light. We'll see if that holds the test of time. One of the other issues people talk about is when you're replacing the glass. So the way this works is you have a glass pane with plastic sheaths or covers that go on the bottom of it, and you can kind of see the glue of it right here. So you can peel that off from the inside once it gets abraded from whatever media you're using. And then there's glass underneath, and then on top of that, which is what I'm touching right now, is just acrylic. And there's a piece of plastic, like most acrylic comes with when it's shipped. You need to make sure you take that plastic off, otherwise you won't be able to see crap through these things. So there's that. And then when you want to change the glass or get it out or whatever, you need to be able to pull these nuts off. Well, the problem with that is the bolt will just fall down into your media. So what I did is I don't know if you guys can see this right here. I just sanded some of the paint away, and I JB welded all those bolts in place. Worked pretty good, except one or two came out, and then I just hot glued them. I have some heavy duty hot glue right there as well to just keep them in there. Let's see if it works over the long term. It may not, but it works for right now, so that's good news. Another thing I noticed is there probably should be washers on these hinge bolts. They're very tiny. They hold, but like, I don't know if you can see that. It's almost in that hole. So there really should be washers on there. I'll probably pull those off and put washers on. The other thing some guys mention is these holes. They'll get filled with media. I'll fill them with something. I saw a video of the guy that used HVAC like metal tape and put them across all the holes. The problem would be is they fill with media, and then you open the door and it spills all over your freaking garage floor or whatever. So I'll end up filling them with something. I haven't decided yet. You guys can get creative with that, I'm sure. There's a billion ways to solve that problem. When it comes to sealant, I would probably recommend putting the sealant around these. I don't know that these leak yet, but they don't tighten down very much. There's a rubber gasket, but I suspect any leak I have will be at these sleeve holders or collars. So I'll likely probably have to pull those back off and silicone around those two sleeve collars, because I just don't see these. This one's sealed pretty good, but this one's still kind of loose, and I don't know. I'm not seeing it being a good seal at those places. This inside grate will come out, so you guys don't have to, screw around with that when you mount the hopper. I just left it off, and then I just stuck it in there after the fact. Some guys lower this down, but I think there's plenty of enough room. I mean, obviously there'll always be something that won't fit in it, but in that case you need to go with like the Eastwood blaster, or go spend $1,000. The way I looked at it is for like $200 you can get this. Then I'm going to spend another maybe $200 on upgrades. I would have to spend that pretty much anyways if I got the Eastwood blast cabinet. It's like $600, so I'd end up paying $800 after the upgrades anyways. I'd get a little more room for sure, and maybe a little bit better quality build, but for the money, I think this was the way to go. Hopefully that was quick and to the point for you guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with hopefully some media blasting.